Hey there, this is Fufski coming to you from New York. I am currently at Greenwich Village and this is Semma. It is an Indian restaurant and in particular it serves unapologetic Southern Indian food. It is under the group that they call unapologetic Indian food and there are 3 restaurants under that category. Those are Ada, Dhamaka and Semma. I have been to those previous 2 and I like those food and this is the only one that's left for me to discover. I had limited exposure with Southern Indian food, so I am excited to see what kind of rendition they will put out in that restaurant. Now I have seated inside Semma. We have 4 people here, so this is a sizable table. We ordered 2 small plate, 2 medium plate, and 4 large plate. That should be enough for us. The restaurant looks kind of cool. The internal decoration does give it the tropical South Indian vibe. One thing I immediately noticed is that it is really hot inside. I don't know if that's because there's too many people. There isn't too many people. Like, I have a table 4, but like we're just normal guys, right? We shouldn't be exuding too much heat here. I think it's probably because of the AC here. They don't have enough AC. And so I guess I'm sort of like just experiencing South Indian right there. Like, like just the heat of it. All right, so first thing first, we have a cocktail. This is Bangalore Days. This is cardamom-infused oat monk, pineapple, and coconut. That music is very Indian. This cardamom flavor here is superb. And you taste the coconut, taste the pineapple. Wow, this is amazing. This is a pina colada that traveled to India. And that's what it was like. Okay, so this is our first appetizer, small plate. This is called Mulaikattiya Thaniyam. It is a South Indian bean sprout salad with shredded coconut, kind of. I mean, we eat bean sprout salad in Chinese cuisine too, but not in this preparation. And also this one has sprouted partially, that we don't do it in Chinese cuisine. There are many small pieces of these bean sprouts here. Oh. It is bean sprout, right? With a slight heat that's gonna build. But it's also very refreshing. Some onions, some chilies that give it extra crisp. That chili is similar to like a Chinese, Sichuanese chili, origin cow, and the burn, which is quite spicy. All right, so this is our second appetizer, also a small plate. This is called Nathai Pirattal, basically snail. This is cooked in rural areas of South India. That's why they have the dish here. And in terms of the snail itself, I had a couple times, but it's not the most frequent animal that I consume. Of course, there is the famous French escargot, that's the snail, right? In the garlic butter and all that you know. In Chinese cuisine, we also eat snails too, but mostly those are stir-fried with like some kind of chili sauce, chili oil, and you use a toothpick to pick them out. So it's a different rendition. Like the last time I had it is maybe over 20 years ago. But either way, this is the beautiful snail. It's just like, look at how small this is. This is the snail wrapped in banana leaves with some grated coconuts on top. Look at how small this is. But, ooh, okay. Is that chili? Yeah, chili, snail. That's binded by some kind of sauce. It says it's tamarind. The snail is so bouncy. It has a very nice chew here. And actually quite meaty. Also, it's kind of spicy that it's gonna build. It's probably like the same smoked chili type of vibe as the one in the bean sprout. The shredded coconut might have a hint of sweetness, but it is overpowered by the spicy flavor of the snail. They also have this Kal Dosa to pair with the snail. So I'm just gonna have a little bit of this on top. Oh, does it look like an Indian taco? Indian snail taco. This Kal Dosa is actually very nice. It has a nice, pleasant, mild sweetness in there. And with the combination of this, that's going to neutralize some impact of the spiciness. Now I can taste the tamarind in the snail. Now I can also taste a bit coconut, but it's a very subtle flavor in there. This is the snail that traveled from France to India and come back, and that's what it's like. So this is our medium-sized plate. Gunpowder Dosa. Look at this dosa, it's very beautiful and also it has a very strong aroma. Like I can immediately smell that when the plate is presented. So gunpowder is a masala that's made with rice, lentil, curry leaves, asafoetida, and some other spices. And I'm looking forward to see if this is a better one than the one I had in the temple canteen. The temple canteen had really good dosa, but this one smells even better. So let's find out. Let me try to tear this apart, starting from the side. It is potato masala inside, so... Oh, okay. You can see it's full of masala here. The flavor is good, no doubt. Butter on the outside, you have the masala flavor inside. And also, it's kind of crunchy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, so there is a contrast. That is quite good. Okay, so now we have 3 small cups here. This is sambal, this is tomato chutney, and this is coconut chutney. And as you can see inside, there is indeed potato masala. You can see that here, right? There's some potatoes. But anyways, this one doesn't have potato, but I'm just gonna use that. Dip that in the coconut chutney. This coconut chutney is not as spicy as the one I had in temple canteen, but it has a very strong cilantro onion flavor in it, which is more refreshing. And also it's very dense. It's much denser compared to the one I had in canteen. And you can see there's some mustard seed inside as well to give it that spice. Let me get some more. The dosa here. The dosa is indeed very good, but I just don't have a lot of potato. Oh, maybe here I can have some potato now eventually. Oh yes. Now there are like a bit potato because the potato is mostly in the inside, so you really have to like dig into the center to have the potato. But this is just good. Let's do the sambal sauce here. I think the sambal is like, almost like a stew, huh? Yeah, it's gonna be spicy. This is a smoked chili. I think this is called verde chili, but it tastes very similar to the Sichuanese Argentine. This sambal is like a thick gravy, much more condensed compared to the one I have in temple canteen. Also more flavorful. Actually not that spicy, but still a bit spicier than the one I had before. Oh, this is good. All right, so lastly we have this tomato chutney. Let me get that in. Oh, look at that. Thick, luscious. There's also coconut in the tomato, so give it a bit sweetness. Also mustard seed, a bit spiciness, and it's kind of thick too. So a bit sweet, a bit coconutty, a bit mustardy, spicy. Very South Indian. Okay, so this is our 4th course, our second medium-sized plate. This is called Kudal Varuval. Goat intestine and a banana leaf with shredded coconut on top and Kal Dosa. The same dosa that's made with lentil and rice powder, slightly fermented. Tastes exactly like the Chinese feichang, pork intestine. This is goat intestine. Like in terms of texture, it's exactly the same. Slightly spongy and soft, like a softer version of tripe, but that's just exactly what an intestine should taste like. But the flavor is very different from that of the Chinese version. This one is more like southern masala style. It is quite spicy, but you taste that like black cardamom and some green cardamom, cinnamon, all the masala stuff in here. But this one is a bit more smoky, a bit more peppery, and again with a bit sweetness from the coconut, but under all that spices, the coconut isn't very potent. Let's try this Kal Dosa here. Okay, so let's get a piece of this intestine. Again, an Indian intestine taco.
So in other words,
the dosa here just basically serve as a wrapper. This one compared to the other Kal Dosa we had before, it's not as thick, so the flavor is not as potent, but you still got that like the slightly fermented sweet flavor of the dosa. But overall, this is a good way of eating it. All right, so now this is our main course. This is the first big plate, and the name is, I'm gonna have to read it from the phone because I can't remember. This is called Valiya Chemeem Moilee, basically lobster tail curry. Lobster tail, mustard, turmeric, and coconut milk. Well, very interesting. When people think of South Indian food, it's mostly vegetarian. I mean, there is a lot of vegetarian food in Southern Indian food, but there are also some selections of animal protein present in this restaurant, this being one of them. Very interesting, I never had this before. Actually, I never had lobster in Indian cuisine before. This is coconut milk and mustard. Let me try a bit sauce first. It is coconut with a bit spicy feel to it. Mustard, very mild. You get that complexity from the spice here. Again, the spice builds. I have to say every dish here is quite spicy. I also think this is overall more spicy than tamaka. I mean, tamaka is considered quite spicy by a lot of people. This is even more spicy. Luckily, I'm from a province that can really tolerate spicy food, so I'm fine with these. But other people might not be so much. this is unapologetic Indian food after all. Okay, so you can see this is a piece of lobster meat. There is a shell at the bottom just for decoration purpose. All right. So get a piece of it. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna have a smaller. Just have this. This is good. Indian lobster, basically lobster meat, right? Then with the sauce, this southern Indian curry with a good hint of coconut flavor, a bit spice from the mustard, and some other spices. That's exactly what it is. This is a lobster that swing and travel to India and get captured and cooked. This is what it's like. Okay, so this is our second main course. This is called Dindigul Biryani. So it's a South Indian biryani, which looks quite different from the northern counterpart. First thing you notice is the rice is different. It's not basmati rice. It's a different type of rice. It's much shorter. And second is that it's in this casserole. Looks like a Chinese casserole rice, bao zai fan to me. So all the rice are kind of clumped together and with some, is that ginger or some meat, some rice, and this possibly ginger shred here. This is the lamb, very nice flavor. The rice does feel very different than the basmati counterpart. The rice is a bit more like the Chinese preparation. Exactly like I mentioned, the bao zai fan, casserole rice. It's not as separated, it's a bit clumped together because of the nature of the rice. And the flavor is also kind of concentrated in those two. Very interesting. I mean, you can use a completely different name for this one because from the rice and the technique, it just doesn't really feel like a traditional biryani you will have, but this is Southern Dindigul Biryani for you. All right, moving up. Next one we have Mirchi Ka Salan. This is basically stuffed lamb pepper with sesame and peanut lying in this gravy. Let's try a bit of the gravy here first. Okay. Okay, that's a new flavor to me. A bit spicy, but not too much. A bit the fermented bean. This one tastes like doubanjiang, fermented soybean with a bit chili. At the same time, you have peanuts. Very interesting. Slightly spicy, funky fermented flavor with a bit nuttiness from the peanut mixture. Try this stuffed lamb pepper. Oh, it is indeed stuffed. Look at all that content inside. Actually, let me cut this one because this one is under the light. You see the light here, right? It's like scallion or some potato masala or some kind of mixture with sesame and peanut. Okay, so here we have the pepper and the stuffing. The pepper is actually quite difficult to cut into pieces. There's definitely potato masala in there. The pepper tastes like shishito pepper. Sort of flavor from the outside. I have a bit of the flesh of the pepper. And inside there is potato masala, sesame, and the nutty sauce that incorporate into one bite. Very interesting. So this one is Chettinad Maan. It is lamb shank, South Indian version from the Chettinad region. So there is a pig because they told me there is bone marrow in there. Actually, I think I need ham for this. So look at the... Ooh. That's like a tiny piece of bone marrow here. Well, bone marrow is the same. No matter what the animal, it always tastes similar. But this one, the bone marrow is heavily coated with this Chettinad masala, this spices. Okay, now is the time to dig into the venison shank here. Actually quite soft. Still a good amount of resistance in there. Tastes like lean cut of beef, basically. And there's aromatic spices, kind of peppery. A bit peppery, a bit smoky, maybe more peppercorn. I mean, I know for a fact there's a lot of peppercorn because Southern India is where the production area for pepper is. So it's natural that they use a lot of peppercorn in their cuisine. But this one is more peppery and also a bit more smoky from the black cardamom and some other spices in there. As for the venison, it tastes like beef. Okay, so to pair at the side, we have paratha. I mean, paratha is the staple, just like a naan that you use to scoop up sauces. Give it a good scoop. This is like a mop. I'm mopping in this sauce swamp. Carbs makes things so much better. I love carbs. So now this is dessert time. The first dessert is called Elaneer Payasam. This is basically a coconut, tender coconut, coconut milk, coconut water, cashew, raisin, and ghee. Okay, look at this. It's a sort of creamy consistency. Raisin, cashew, grated coconuts and everything.
It's like you don't get success. You're like, oh, it's not worth my time.
Oh, this is very good. Sweet, a little creamy, refreshing, coconutty. You got some cashew, some raisin. This one almost tastes like the farude. Remember when I was in Sharjah, UAE, I had a dessert called farude, which is a cup with a bunch of ingredients. There's coconut milk, there's vermicelli noodle, there's raisin, there's nuts. This is very similar to that. So faluda is a dessert that's originated in Iran, I believe, but they have that in India as well. And this is that interpretation. Oh, this is very good, actually. Let me just take one more bite. It's like a creamy coconut pudding with the addition of raisin and cashew to give it that nutty, sweet flavor. So this is our second dessert. This one I haven't seen before. This is called Shahi Tukda. It is ghee roasted brioche, saffron rabdi. I'm not sure what rabdi is. And there's cardamom and cashew. Okay, so you can see there is a good amount of nuts here. Pistachio. Okay, oh, it is a brioche, huh? So the color is probably coming from saffron. Almost feel like a creamy pudding, huh? Just look at it, the consistency. I'm still processing it. It is a brioche, all right, but it's not like toasted. It's this brioche that's used to soak up the sauce, so it's like a spongy, sort of bready texture. It has a lot of these flavor. There's cardamom, there is maybe rose water, saffron, and a bit nuttiness in there. A slight sweetness, but not as sweet as the one that we just had. It's actually quite complex. A very novel experience for me. You definitely taste the nuanced flavor of the saffron and cardamom combined. We have just finished our dinner at Semma. It's a very novel experience. All the dishes were quite new to me, and the flavor is very complex, very good as well. I think overall, this one has even more nuance than that of Dhamaka. Both are pretty good, but this is way more spicy. This is geared for the spiciest level of all. This is like Sichuan level of spiciness, but I can handle it. Once I can handle it, it is good. So that wraps up my visit to Semma and subsequently the Unapologetic Group restaurant as a whole. I have now visited Ada, Dhamaka, and Semma, all of them. Pretty good. This is Fufski. I make videos about food, travel, and culture. Subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.